Alrighty.
So how you feeling?
Yeah, I feel good, man. It's day one.
Greetings, Sentinels. This is Universe Unique, and today, the truth comes to light. Do you know what really bothers me? We spend hours analyzing trailers, reading forums, and breaking down leaks. But sometimes a single photo of 3 actors smiling is enough to collapse an entire theory. Or worse, to confirm one that nobody wanted to accept. We're about to uncover something important about the fate of one of the most beloved characters in the Spider-Verse. And the surprising part is, it didn't come from a Marvel announcement or a leaked scene. It came from a behind-the-scenes photo, seemingly harmless, taken by a fan. But there's a detail in that image that changes everything. We're going to examine it closely, with precision and full attention to the small details. Because this goes beyond costumes. It's an emotional clue. So, if you're here for grounded theories, for the symbols almost no one notices, and for connections that reach beyond the script, subscribe. Not only will you help us hit an important milestone for the channel, you'll be part of a community that looks past the hype. And tell me in the comments, from which city and country are you watching this video? I'll be reading them all. If this content connects you with the sharpest news and theories from the nerd universe, then leave the triple kill. Like, comment, and share. In the leaked set photo from Spider-Man, Brand New Day, Tom Holland, Zendaya, and Jacob Batalon are seen posing with fans. At first glance, it looks like nothing more than a friendly moment. But if you pause and look carefully, you'll notice this isn't just a casual behind-the-scenes shot. It's a photo taken in character. Tom is wearing the full Spider-Man suit. No surprise there. Zendaya is styled as MJ, in a black hoodie, jeans, and carrying that introspective tone that's become her trademark since No Way Home. But what stands out most is Jacob Batalon. He's wearing an MIT t-shirt. This is not random. In visual storytelling, wardrobe is never accidental, especially in a franchise like this, where every choice carries emotional weight. That t-shirt isn't a throwaway detail, it's a message. And this is where the real break happens. If Ned is wearing that shirt in what seems like a casual moment, then we're looking at a silent confirmation of his fate after Strange's spell. More than that, it might be one of the rare interactions where Peter sees his old world from the outside. It may look like just another promo image. But if Ned is there, in that shirt, alongside MJ and Peter, that implies a triangle of memories that no longer exist. Or do they? There's a deeper layer that still doesn't fully line up, and the clue is sitting right there in front of us. But the most powerful emotional implication is one that almost no one is talking about. And you'll understand it in the next section. The last time we saw Ned Leeds, he was on the edge of becoming more than the comic relief best friend. In Spider-Man, No Way Home, he not only showed an unexpected connection to magic, opening portals with Strange's sling ring without any prior training, but he also stood at the center of the MCU's most painful farewell. That MIT shirt changes everything. In Marvel storytelling, the most impactful decisions rarely come through explosions or dramatic speeches. Sometimes they appear in small, deliberate details like this. At the end of No Way Home, Peter sacrifices his friendships, letting MJ and Ned forget him completely. The final scene shows him watching as they continue their lives without him, both mentioning plans to study at MIT. It felt like a dream they once shared. Now, seeing Ned wearing an MIT shirt, seemingly already accepted, confirms that his story has moved forward, without Peter. This creates 2 possible readings. The first is straightforward. The spell worked as intended, erasing Peter Parker from Ned's life, while allowing Ned to fulfill his destiny independently. The second interpretation is more unsettling. What if Peter is quietly watching them from the shadows, seeing them live the life he gave up? What if this moment is a repeat of No Way Home's ending, but with an even sharper sting of everyday normalcy? There's also the symbolic weight of MIT within the MCU. It's where Tony Stark gave his speech in Civil War. It's where Riri Williams, Iron Heart studies. It's a symbolic node of technological legacy. If Ned is there, his path could intersect with something far bigger than his personal story. But one more question lingers. If Peter knows Ned is at MIT, why doesn't he try to reconnect? Perhaps he can't. Or worse, perhaps he must not. Because at this point, what's at stake isn't just friendship. It's the emotional stability of a universe he himself fractured. That silent sacrifice says more about Peter's new reality than any words could. And it's not the only sign of a possible emotional reset. The new characters joining the cast point to an even deeper shift. When Peter Parker chose to sever all personal ties to restore balance to the multiverse, the pain was silent but devastating. That isolation defines this new phase of his character. Seeing him alongside MJ and Ned in that leaked photo, even if it looks harmless, reopens a wound that never healed. If Strange's spell erased their memories completely, what sense does it make for Peter to cross paths with them again? Wouldn't it be dangerous? Wouldn't it undo his final choice? This is where the theory gains weight. What we're seeing isn't a conscious reunion. It's a one-way crossing of paths. Peter is no longer part of that circle. He's just an observer, like a ghost that still breathes. And this pattern isn't new. In the brand New Day comics, Peter also distances himself after a dark pact erases his relationship with MJ. For months, he watches her without her knowledge. He protects her from the shadows, but never reveals himself. The emotional echo between that storyline and what we're seeing now is hard to ignore. The set photo reinforces this. Zendaya, as MJ, appears withdrawn. Eyes down, no direct connection with Peter. No affectionate interaction. No trace of the romance that once defined them. Even if they share a scene, emotionally they remain in separate worlds. But there's an even more painful possibility. What if Peter returned to their lives not to reconnect, but to say goodbye one last time? Maybe he knows they'll move on. Maybe he just wants to see with his own eyes that they're safe, before disappearing again. If true, Brand New Day may not be a story of reunions. It could be Spider-Man's loneliest chapter yet in the MCU. And the arrival of new characters in the cast only strengthens that theory. Because when one door closes, another opens. And the faces stepping in could redefine Peter Parker's circle of allies entirely. When a character, as symbolically solitary as Peter Parker, begins to appear surrounded by new faces, the first question is this growth? Or a narrative reset? In the MCU, new cast members are never accidental. They mark shifts. Spider-Man. Brand New Day has already confirmed the inclusion of Sadie Sink, Liza Colon-Zayas, Mark Ruffalo as Hulk, and John Bernthal as the Punisher. 4 additions that don't immediately fit into Peter's usual dynamic. Why is Frank Castle intersecting with Spider-Man at this stage? Why does Bruce Banner reappear right before Peter's emotional climax? The most plausible explanation is that Marvel is preparing a soft reboot for Spider-Man. Not a full reset. His past won't be erased, nor will his scars, but a restructuring of his relationships and immediate universe. The same happened with Captain America after Civil War. Same hero, new allies, new context, new burden. Sadie Sink's casting sparks its own theories. Her profile aligns closely with Gwen Stacy, though Marvel hasn't confirmed it. If true, it would repeat a familiar emotional cycle. Losing one love, forming a new bond, always carrying the weight of guilt. In the comics, Brand New Day does exactly this. After Mephisto's memory-erasing pact, Peter rebuilds his life, forging new relationships in a world where no one remembers who he is. Writers leaned into more grounded human conflicts, less about epic battles and more about everyday struggles. That could be Marvel's intent here too. The Punisher's inclusion adds further weight. He's the opposite of Peter. Where Peter seeks redemption, Frank delivers brutal justice. Putting them together isn't random. It's a deliberate way to test Spider-Man's limits, to see how far Peter can go without breaking. If this all forms Spider-Man's new ecosystem in the MCU, then the key question becomes, who's being left out? And this is where the most unsettling possibility arises. Maybe MJ and Ned aren't just emotionally distanced. Maybe they've been narratively replaced. And that leads us to the core of it all. Is a reunion possible, or is forgetting final? The answer might already exist in the comics. What happened at the end of No Way Home wasn't just another goodbye. It was a complete renunciation of what defined Peter Parker as a person, his bonds. But Spider-Man's story has always swung between loss and restoration. That's what makes this theory more credible than it seems. Forgetting isn't always permanent in Marvel. In fact, it's been undone before. In the original Brand New Day comics, Peter and MJ also endured a forced separation. A pact with Mephisto erased their marriage, their shared memories, and any future together. But over time, cracks formed. Glances, fragmented lines, déjà vu. Elements that didn't restore memory outright, but reignited emotional connection. That same pattern could now be unfolding in the MCU. Strange's spell was absolute in theory, but magic in this cinematic universe has never been flawless. Wanda reshaped entire realities out of raw emotion. Is it really far-fetched to think MJ might start remembering without knowing why? Fans have already pointed out a telling detail. Zendaya's portrayal of MJ feels distant but vulnerable, as if something doesn't fully fit. In Marvel's visual language, that may not just be acting. It may be intentional direction. There are precedents. In The Amazing Spider-Man 2, Peter distances himself from Gwen to protect her. When he tries to return, it's too late. But the larger theme remains. Love in Spider-Man's story always finds a way, even when it shouldn't. This raises the central question. Is Marvel preparing to rebuild Peter and MJ's relationship? Or are they deliberately playing with nostalgia, knowing that seeing them together, without recognition, hurts us more than any explicit breakup? The answer could come down to a single line. A simple phrase, delivered at the right moment, that sparks memory. A "do I know you?" capable of triggering a chain reaction. If that happens, it won't just be a reunion. It would mark the reversal of the spell. And narratively, that changes everything. But for that to work, Peter would have to do the one thing he's avoided since the beginning: intervene. Will he? Or will he remain in the shadows, watching the life he sacrificed continue without him? That's the question Marvel is setting up. Because even if the threads are all in place, the final choice still belongs to the man behind the mask. Looking closely at everything surrounding the filming of Spider-Man, Brand New Day, one thing becomes clear. This isn't just another chapter in Peter Parker's life. It's a stage of redefinition, a phase where the past is still present, but not in explicit ways. It lingers as a shadow, as an echo, as an absence that hurts. Ned's MIT shirt, MJ's restrained expression, Peter's distant gaze, the arrival of emotionally heavy new characters, all of it points to a quiet but profound transition. Old bonds can't be restored to what they were, and the new ones haven't yet taken shape. It's an in-between state, uncomfortable and raw, where the hero begins to accept that his sacrifice might truly be permanent. That may be the key to the title itself, because what that leaked photo seems to confirm isn't just Ned's future. It's Peter's solitude. His role as a witness to a life that no longer belongs to him, a friend who doesn't remember him, a woman who no longer loves him, and a universe that continues forward without him. And yet, within that emptiness, there's still possibility. Marvel may not be closing doors, but opening new ones. This Spider-Man could become more introspective, more mature, more tragic, but also freer. Free to build something different. To find a new identity that doesn't depend on being remembered, but on being true to who he really is. If that's what's coming, then Brand New Day won't just be a continuation. It will be a new beginning. One that might hurt, but could also surprise us. If this breakdown helped you see Peter Parker from a new angle, consider subscribing. We're very close to reaching a major milestone here on the channel, and your support makes the difference. Every subscription shows that this content brings you real value. that it connects you with the universe you've loved for years. And since you made it this far, let me know in the comments. From which city and country are you watching this video? I'm always interested, and as always, I'll read them all. See you in the next multiverse analysis, because this is only the beginning.